Well, hello, America. How are you on a Saturday evening? We're here tonight with the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting podcast. Buckle up, folks, because we've got the big bulls, the fast horses, and the wild stories from the great outdoors all lined up for you tonight. We're talking deer stands to duck blinds, bows to rifles, and all the misses along the way. So grab your boots, cinch up that saddle, and get ready to ride through all things hunting with the best and the worst shots, the wildest tales, and a heap of good old southern grit. This ain't your average hunting talk. This is the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting podcast. Pull the gate, guys. Here we go.
Welcome back to the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting podcast. We got a special episode today. We got a crew from Beretta brought us something that nobody's yet seen. Caleb, you want to tell us what we got here?
Yeah, we're here to introduce the AX800 Suprema shotgun. It is the new premier waterfowl shotgun out of the Beretta offering. We're super pumped about this thing. It's got a lot of cool features you guys are going to love, and the guys out there are going to love that we've Pietro and the team here have been working for about 4 years on, trying to get this across the finish line. So we're excited to dive into this today and kind of show you what it's about.
Also, we're all pretty hard on our shotguns. We tear them up, break them. I know Kyle brings his shotguns in at the end of the year, and I'm like, you having problems out of these? He's like, no, why? Because you should be having problems out of these. I don't think he's ever cleaned one, ever.
There's the Wallace test for everything that I buy. If it's lasts a year with you, then it's set. It's good to go. So we'll put it through the Wallace test.
If I can, and I'm going to tell you, Matty Wiggins is going to be pretty excited because he's A400. He's a good friend of ours and a very good duck guide here in the area, and he puts one through the ringer. He texted me a couple of years ago. Lenny, you may remember this. He texted me a couple of years ago. He said, boy, do I have a project for you. I was like, what have you done, Matty? A400 fell off the Ranger this morning. He said, and I realized it when I ran over it with the boat. I think it was a boat trailer. Maybe he got it with the Ranger, within the boat trailer tire behind the Ranger. And, I mean, it bent all kind of stuff up. But about some parts and some favors on getting some shipping expedited, and about 4 or 5 days later, he was back going boom, boom, boom with it. So, let's go around. Everybody introduce everybody. Everybody, y'all know me, Kyle, and Hunter, who we don't let him on here very often.
Yeah,
but
I'll try
special
to stay
occasion.
Yeah,
We'll go.
I'm Pietro. I'm product manager back in Italy for hunting and competition shotguns. So I'm in the middle between R&D and sales. I'm not fully R&D, I'm not fully sales. So I'm stuck in the middle, as I would say always. And I basically take care of the over and under lineup, but also about the A400 and the 1301 ranges. So, and of course also our straight bow rifle, the PRX. So what my role is basically giving the right specification for the new project to R&D, and then collect feedbacks on the sales side, and that's why we are here to introduce this new gun.
great.
Yeah, I'm Caleb McMillen. I'm based out of Nashville, Tennessee with Beretta USA there at our Gallatin plant. I'm the category manager for hunting and the senior product manager for long guns and ammunition. So as you guys know, Beretta USA is the importer of Sacco and Tika in the U.S., and we also handle the Italian product as well. So I'm sort of Pietro's liaison into the U.S., into the market, and kind of what the needs are, if you will. And then I handle the A300 lineup out of Gallatin also with a team of mine that helps us do that. So I've been with the company about 3 years, and it's kind of a dream job. So it's a big duck hunter when you can blend work and play a little bit. I don't hunt near as much as I used to, I feel like, but
That's kind of the hunting business. You get in the hunting business, you don't get to hunt too much.
it's wild, man. You feel like you're going to go and, you take this new job and you're like, hey, somebody want to work for Beretta? I'm like, yeah, maybe so. What about it? And we're going to hunt all the time. We're going to have all this fun. And shoot, I hunt less now than I did before I started working here, I feel like. But
Big time.
We do a lot of product testing, though. That's how you blend that in.
That's right. Yeah. You get to do cool stuff like this we're going to talk about today and visit you guys. So, yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. He can just talking to that mic, Landon. Just pass it around.
I'm Riccardo Spiazzi. I work as a product manager as well in Beretta Italy with Pietro. I deal with spare parts and everything gun accessories related. I decided to join the guys on this introductory road trip, and I hope you all are all excited as we are for this new gun.
Yeah. Yeah, Landon Koos. I'm regional sales manager for Beretta. Been here 16 years. My only job this week is keeping these guys out of trouble in the South. So that's the only reason I'm here right now.
You're the interpreter. Yeah,
Brought him
that's
here,
a bad
yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
We find out he's in charge of parts. If we can't find any, we know who to call now. So.
Yeah. We may actually hold him hostage for a little
we'll
while.
keep you here for a little bit. Hold him upside down. Yeah.
Here's the parts we need before you can leave here.
Brandon Berky, I'm the territory manager for this area. So if you've ordered a gun from Simmons and it didn't come in, it's probably my fault.
It's always your
not
fault.
Simmons. Yeah.
When Brandon first started, he was in here one day and a customer wanted something. He go, oh, man, look, we can have that in a couple of days. I was like, hey, whoa. I said, you need to make sure we can have it in a couple. Like, I like the positive energy, but let's make sure we can have it in a couple of days before we tell him that.
We didn't have it.
We didn't, but we made it. We made it right.
Saying that, though.
The answer's always yes, right?
Yeah. So this
right.
is, I mean, we were talking earlier. I think this is probably the first shotgun in a long time that's actually changed the game, how it's made and everything. Everybody's we talked about putting lipstick on a pig. It's almost like every gun for the last 10 years has just been reintroduced or have different rubber put in it or something. I think this is one that's actually going to change how it's manufactured and how it functions. So who wants to lead us into talking about it?
Whose idea was this?
Yeah.
This is the first question of mine because it's
different.
It's different. It's completely out of the box. I think it's great. I think it's going to be great. But where'd the idea come from? And I'm sure y'all got a lot of hours that went into this. And
It has been a long-lasting project for us. I mean, we started 4 years ago almost, doing focus group, consumer researches, and of course knowing our experience on the A400. If you are talking about the design and everything, the look of it, it's always a combination of factors. I mean, we got our industrial designers, we got our own ideas, of course, and we are trying to match it with the consumer needs and obviously what they like. The idea mainly was how to make the A400 Extreme Plus better. So that was the starting point for this project, and everyone was here at Beretta USA, at Beretta Italy, of course. We all had our own ideas, and we started from pillars, I guess. No, Caleb. We started. How can we break down the key points that we can improve on the A400 Extreme? So one was the gas system for sure. The other one was the kickoff, and the third one, the main point was the barrel technology on this gun. Yeah. So I don't know if Caleb, you want to keep going?
Yeah, I think the look and feel of it, right? And I mean, the bar on the A400 Extreme is high, right? It's a tough.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Set the bar high.
Yeah, it's hard to
exactly.
improve on that.
Exactly. So it's a tall task. I mean, when you look in duck blinds across the country, what guns you're going to see, between at the high end, right? It's SB3, it's Extreme, an A5 here and there, and so the competition is set. Our bar is extremely high, and this gun has to perform better than that, and that's the goal that we're trying to go after. And so along those three pillars Pietro talked about, it's the little small nuances also that we took some time in the ergonomics. We like to say how it looks, how it feels. Also made a big difference on it.
When you could tell some of the things where a hunter was involved, the little things that, as far as mounting a red dot here, if you want to turkey hunt with it, and a few of the kickoff system, the way it functions, you can tell there was a lot of hunting, influence in it.
Absolutely.
So from what I read, can you change the cast and everything right there without pulling your stock all the way apart like you have to do with every other traditional semi-auto?
The main point was, on the Extreme Plus we got the Kickoff Mega, which is our formerly adopted best-in-class kickoff system. It uses 3 hydraulic pistons to reduce recoil, sucking 70% out of the recoil of the gun. So it was a task to improve the situation on that, and because it sucks a lot of recoil out of the gun when shooting. And so our main focus on this gun was keeping the same comfort while shooting the gun, but allow a better fitting to the shooter. So on this kickoff, as you were mentioning, you can adjust the drop and the cast of the stock in an easier way with just one shim that is basically placed in the middle of the stock. You have 2 pistol grip sizes, so you can adapt trigger reach, and of course you have obviously you can modify the same as the
The length
extreme,
of pull.
the length of pull, and obviously you have 2 sizes cheek pad on it, so you can really adapt the stock because fitting matters.
Of
Most
course.
people don't realize, but fitting, and we have a huge, let's say, of course, history talking about competition guns and fitting, getting the right stock dimension for everyone. The thing is that an adjustable stock will fit most of the guys out there. So that was the focus on the Kickoff Pro, which is the new Kickoff name.
So I think that's huge because when people come in and they ask what shotgun's the best, and we always tell them they're all good. You got to find one that fits you the best. Well, now that fits everybody.
Yep. And they go through the whole. That's why they come here. We've got them all, and they go through them and see what one fits them the best. And it's one you can make fit you specifically. That makes a big difference, and still have the recoil reduction.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
So
Kind of. Go ahead, sir.
I guess talk a little bit about the barrel technology and the 17.7-inch forcing cone.
Yeah. It's
correct.
for the first time we have applied high-end competition guns technology through a hunting gun. So the Steelium Pro barrels, the Steelium Pro profile was well known and is well known on DT11 high-end shotguns, the shotguns that athletes shoot at the Olympic Games. DT11 barrels, so the Steelium Pro barrels, are finally applied to a hunting gun. I say finally because it was a big debate in our company. So it is basically $10,000 technology applied to a $2,500 shotgun. So it was a big debate, right? Are we devaluating the meaning of Steelium Pro? In our case, we are feeling that a pretty big step from the extreme to this gun is barrel technology. So the Steelium Pro, yes, has the longest forcing cone in our range, still keeping the OCHP chokes, and it is basically 2/3 of the barrel. So most people don't realize that when you are increasing the length of the forcing cone, you are having a better shooting gun because the recoil mitigation is way better because the pellets are not forced into the cylindrical bore of the gun, but they are gently pushed and they are progressively pushed into the. You get better patterning because the pellets fly better into the bore, and of course the terminal energy are benefiting from these two things. So on the one side you shoot better and you have pellets that fly better, retain energy, and so terminal energy is affected as well.
So less felt recoil, better pattern, and harder hitting rounds, right?
Exactly.
And less muzzle rises is something that, along with those forcing cones, you get less muzzle rise. So not only linear energy, but also that muzzle jumping as you go. So faster follow-up shots with it.
Caleb over there said you can kill a duck 100 yards with this gun.
Yeah, that's fine.
He guarantees it.
I think with
Guaranteed.
the right load, you can stretch it out a little bit. I don't know about
Pull out
100
his pocket
yards.
knife, go to rimming the shell a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not going to advocate 100-yard shots, but we've been known to send one every now and then at a duck trying to get out. So
It's worth noting, too, 14 of the 15 Olympic medals won at the last Olympics were won with the DT11.
With the DT11, which that barrel technology goes into
I
the
like
shotgun.
y'all's ad on that. It said you showed all the gold medals, and there was one that was not going. You said nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
I like that. That was pretty good.
yeah. And not even this year, 14 out of 15, they're not all our sponsored shooters. We only have 3 or 4 sponsored Olympic shooters. The rest of these guys are just shooting it because it's the best in the world, and
Right.
that's why they're doing it. And I think the number since 2016, we owned Beretta has been present in like 73% of the medals that have been shot since 2016. So I mean, it's a tall task.
That
So
is.
Yeah.
it's bringing that technology down to the duck hunter.
Have you got some percentages, like if this type of barrel, does it hit harder? Is there a percentage that you have an idea of how much harder that'll hit than a standard 400?
It really depends on the load.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, you get low entry-level brands and loads are different than high-end.
Sure.
And so we don't want to really,
Give you a percentage.
expose with, because it can vary a lot.
Sure.
It can vary a lot. Some with good quality ammunition, it can be very high, but with low quality, of course, everything is affected in a bad way, I guess.
Sure.
What how much waterfowl hunting y'all do where you from in Italy?
So I was born and raised with my dad first as a mountain hunter, actually.
Okay.
So as I always say, I hike a lot and I don't shoot much. But
Caleb
but
went hiking in the Alps one time. He almost died. Barely made it to the
I
top.
did.
Rolled down the bottom.
I started to call them and be like, hey, if y'all want me to come out of work, you're going to send a helicopter to get my big ass off the top of this mountain.
yeah, I actually got into waterfall while hunting at Beretta. Working at Beretta. Because of course our products are so much dedicated to this hunting let's say discipline. So I got into that and I liked it a lot. I hunted personally here in the U.S. and in Canada a few times. So and I like it. I mean, it's different from mountain hunting.
Sure.
Big game upland is totally different. But I enjoy it. I see the fun in it, the camaraderie in it, the setup, the decoys, and so on. I like and I get the adrenaline of the ducks or the geese coming into the spread. So I still learning, but
Sure.
I still love it.
Camaraderie. I get a lot of hazing. I don't know if I get any camaraderie out of it.
Well, we're
A lot of
friends,
yelling.
yeah.
I got my new Ranger Can-Am stuck one time, and I didn't have my gun with me, and they flew a drone over me, making me mad. Made sure I didn't have my shotgun, so I didn't shoot it down.
Brand new Can-Am. Hunter gets
Mad.
out there. It's brand new, and I guess they didn't seal the belt box. So he's like, you think I can drive out here? I was like, yeah, you can drive out here.
Yeah.
Just drive right on out here.
Had a
And he
snorkel
gets
kit.
about midway out here, belt gets wet, and it's just like dead in the hole. I was like, Kyle, fly your drone over there and video him. And Kyle goes to take his drone off. He goes, where's his shotgun? I was like, I got a shotgun right here. You're good.
That drone would have been, there'd have been an anti-drone load pumped right through that thing. So tell us, the way this gun's made, it's more polymer. Kind of walk us through how that's the differences in that.
Yeah, so being a waterfall gun, the main idea was anti-rust, anti-corrosion, no oil required. So polymer was like a big step in our thoughts at the beginning, because we had a ton of experience with the ARX160 and our assault rifle platform that we are building back in Italy, and we know how to deal with polymer at this point. And for us, it was a natural transition to polymer into a waterfall gun because of this reason. Again, no oil required, is self-lubricating, doesn't rust.
So no oil needed.
No oil needed.
A few drops here and there, right? And your bolt's still going to need
exactly.
some, but
Sure.
that's it.
Yeah.
Not as much as aluminum anyway.
Sure.
So it's not metal on metal; it's polymer on metal. So, and so yes, it was a natural transition for this kind of reason, right? So.
And I think the not being able to freeze, right? An aluminum receiver. If you've ever been hunting, like Landon, you got a cool story on this. You're telling us earlier today. I think that when it gets really really cold and your bolt locks up, it's the worst feeling in the world.
Right?
When
Grab it and your hand sticks to it.
And your hand sticks to it, it sucks. And so it's a big advantage of this. That polymer also absorbs a little bit more recoil than aluminum is, so it's going to flex and it's going to handle that a little bit better than aluminum. So there's a ton of benefits. And I don't even like calling it polymer. It's like an engineered polymer. Like plastics today have just
So that's my next question was, you're going to have some naysayers and some negative. I mean, people are out there. They're going to look for the negative in anything. They're going to say, why should I buy a plastic gun? But it's not a plastic gun. It's a.
You should buy this plastic gun if you want to call it a plastic gun, because you get a $10,000 barrel and a duck gun that's going to allow you to shoot. And we didn't even talk gas system either, and we'll get into that too. But the NATO, Pietro was touching on this with the AR platforms, and the NATO testing that we have to do to go through, to get those approved, is phenomenal. I mean, it's a ton of tests that they make you go through, and so there's some cool tech videos that you'll see through our content that that comes out, that they put this through an environmental chamber at -20 below Celsius overnight, and then picks it up and shoots the next day. And then there's there's sand, there's dirt, there's mud, and there's ice, and so this thing's been tested arguably more than any other duck gun that we've ever made, right?
Absolutely. Our standard test procedure for let's say long-lasting durability test is 10,000 rounds of super magnum chambered shells, and this handles it perfectly as an aluminum gun would. So
As you see, a lot of your, like on the AR platform, you see a lot of people go into it, like even just the magazines, the polymer it can take a lot of abuse, and then it comes back. Your metal, once it's got some abuse on it, it's there and doesn't move. So he make it run over this one.
Well, and Maddie's not the only one. Maddie's not the only one that's ran over. My little brother has, was it the 3901? It was, the kind of entry level gun. He still got it. Gun runs like a freaking tank. One morning we get back to the house from hunting on our farm. He's like, "Where's my shotgun?" Like, well, hell, I don't know. I know where mine is. And he's like, "I must have left it in the hole." I'm like, "Okay." So we go back and look. No, didn't see it. So we must have left it on the back of the Can-Am, and we dropped it somewhere maybe, So we're riding up and down the turn road, and I'd gone through this mud hole in this rut, I don't know, 4 or 5 times back and forth. And I just happened to look behind me as the water's splashing out of this mud hole, and I saw something in them. I was like, surely not. I get out, and I pull his shotguns in the rut in the mud hole, and I done ran over it 4 or 5 times coming back and forth. So he's like, "Well, now what?" I was like, "Well, first thing, we need a water hose to wash all the mud out of it." And we get up there at the house, wash everything all out. I bring it to work with me. Our gunsmith pulls it apart, cleans it up, oils it back up, fires it 3 times. He's like, "All right, he's ready to go back in the morning."
The Wallace test, see?
The Wallace
That's a good
test.
one, yeah.
We need to copy that, actually.
Yeah.
It's a good test.
Wallace proof.
It's a test procedure, I
We'll
guess.
trademark that one.
Yeah, there's very few things that are Wallace proof, and that's one of them.
So there's some of these things that are in here that you don't traditionally see. Like you've got the QD sling mounts. That's getting you see that on all rifles now. There's hardly any shotguns that have that, which I think is a big deal. When I get there, I want to sling on my shotgun, but I don't want to jack with it, especially turkey hunting. I'm going to pop it off, and that takes you can take a minute.
No time.
Yeah, so I mean that's a big thing. And then this looks like we're big turkey hunters too, so I mean it looks like it's really adaptable. Because most of the time we got some guns, we put a mount on, put a red dot on, and then it's
we
done,
leave it. That's turkey gun.
So with the way this one's set up, I don't know if you could even change your cast and change the way you use it quite a bit if you need to adjust for that round shooting in a different spot.
Yeah, I think that the sling is a good one. I think if you hunt, you hunt in a pit or you hunt in a field or you hunt in the timber, like I don't use a sling in the timber, I just use a little hook and be able to take that in and out, and it's great. But it still has the traditional ones. If you still got the guy that really wants to do that, it's still there.
It's got the either or.
Yeah. And it's one of those small benefits we talked about to add value to this platform as a whole. So, this priced at about $400 over the extreme. Not only the barrel technology and the kickoff we talked about in the gas, but it's those little small nuances that are benefit. And then QD cups are kind of one of those just to add value.
Well, I mean, for the $400, I honestly was kind of surprised it wasn't a whole lot more than that. And 400 is going to stay around and be there. And you've always got that option. You got the 300, but if you want something that, and nowadays, let's face it, we want something that nobody else has got. You want to have the latest and greatest and coolest, and you come out with that, everybody's going to ask you, what the heck is that? I think that's going to be a big one this year.
Tell them about that recoil pad. This is one of my favorite features on the Champion.
Yeah. Again, there are so many features that were thought to with the waterfowl hunter in mind, really. So, for instance, the pad now is made with a different material, which is called EVA, which is super resistant to elements. So it won't deteriorate or anything like that. But also,
I make half my money on replacing pads. That's not good. Part man over there is like, dang.
Yeah. And but Caleb, this is a feature that you like, especially like the angle of the.
Yeah, this came out of the tactical world. So if you've ever come up out of a blind and your gun gets hung up on your shirt or your jacket or whatever, right? That chamfer on the back of this, we took out of the tactical world. If you're used to running a shotgun and a flak, it just helps you mount that a little bit easier. And it's just one of those subtle things that helps.
That little sharp corner's not hanging.
Exactly.
Now, what material is that? Leather? Or is that a faux leather?
Yeah, exactly. It's synthetic leather.
Yeah.
It gives a nice touch to the gun, and also it is a true soft comb. So it is not only very resistant, because synthetic leather is well resistant, but also if the touch and feel is great.
Yeah.
The touch and feel is great.
That feels awesome.
But not limited to. I mean, with the Waterfowler in mind, we have this new lifter, which is we call the competition lifter, because it was invented and used by 3 gun competitors, and basically the lifter remains open when you load up, so you basically slide the shells in an easier way, even with gloves. So that's a big plus. All the controls are enlarged. You can see that the loading ramp on the trigger guard has been made just to have the tactile feeling of,
So you've kind of gotten the tactical fast load.
Exactly.
That
exactly.
you put in your tactical guns in this, so if you need to load one quick.
But not limited to. I mean, the flat face trigger.
Yeah, let's
is
talk
another.
about the trigger for a minute.
Yeah.
We said, you pulled it earlier, and it seems like a whole lot more crisp than the old ones were. So tell us about that.
Not only the look of it is different. I mean, it's not looking as a traditional trigger, and it is flat face because of an influence from the tactical world as well. We saw pistols, ARs, and shotgun were missing a flat trigger, so we went through it, and not limited to the look, but also internally we changed a lot of tolerances, a lot of things internally through the hammer and the trigger itself to make it more crisper and faster resetting. So you will take faster shots with this trigger. So it is a feature that we will eventually bring also to the A400 series at some point, but for now we are keeping it for this new platform.
Yeah, the reset on it's pretty impressive. I mean, it popped right back in pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. It's not obviously a rifle trigger.
No, well, you don't want it to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the creep is the big deal. The pressure, the weights, you want a little weight so you can control your shot. But,
exactly.
But it being crisp, you've never had that in a shotgun trigger, especially on turkey hunting. I think that's a big part of that, especially when you're
that's something Kyle and I have sent several shotgun triggers to different, shotgun like Briley and places like that, just to have it reworked just for turkey. And so to not have to do that would be big, no doubt. I was fixing to say Kyle's over here thinking about ways to tear it up and what it was talking about.
Trouble now that I got the mic on.
Yeah.
No, I'm just sitting back listening to what you're talking about. There's a lot of changes and a lot of thought that's gone into it, from the loading ramp, from staying up, the angle of the loading to be able to fast load. It's all very impressive, in my opinion. And from a Simmons Sporting Goods customer standpoint, they may not understand, the guys that don't shoot 3-gun, what you mean by this ramp. But you see on the video where it's up, if you've ever had a pair of gloves on or something, and you try to load a shell, or even without a gloves, and it's not up, and you get your thumb caught in between that ramp and you feel it, it. But everything's faster, when you're hunting, and it's time to shoot ducks. You've got to be fast. You can't be playing around, but
fast and safe also, because the tactile feeling is needs to be perfect. I mean, an enlarged loading port is helpful because of these reasons.
Yeah. I'm impressed with everything being oversized. Oversized safety, oversized charging handle, oversized charging button. Everything bigger, better, in my opinion. When you if ducks come in, I'm left-handed, I'm gonna get in my mic, but boom, 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 you shoot. If you put another shell in and you reach up, without the oversized charging handle with gloves on, you could miss it. But everything is really, really good and thought out.
I love that. You heard that safety. I don't know if you could hear it on the camera or not, but that
Very
tactile
crisp.
feel.
Yeah.
I love it in a blind, and I say this for two reasons, and it's really good for guides, I think. But my son hunts with me a good bit. He's 11. I want to know when it's like listening to a guy call, or if you're calling and you hear that their call drop and hit their chest, they're reaching for the gun, right? And they're coming up out of that blind, ready to call a shot. And so it's the same way on a safety for me. It's like, hey, I know my son's sitting next to me. If I'm shooting with him, if I'm not, I usually don't shoot with him, but I can hear that come off. If you're a guide, you can hear it come off, and it just gives you good feedback.
Then your hand starts coming up, slapping the back of the head.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and we're talking about, some people may not like a poly gun, but this is not the 10 years ago technology that they had. This is new. The only reason why you can make it now is because engineering and technology has advanced so much. This is better than what there was in the past, available to be made. And that, Rusty Creasy talks about it, old school stuff is cool, but,
He said the Rusty Creasy, good friend of ours, and been duck guiding for forever. They said people talk about the good old days of duck hunting. He said the only thing, as far as the gear from
Right.
the good old days of duck hunting. The only thing good is them days is gone.
That's right.
From
Them days are-
from the clothing to the guns to the ammo to everything, it's so much better. So much better now. And
Well, it's something y'all are traditionally, you know, that the 400 is kind of a chunky. You know, it's got a bigger feel on the front, which I like somewhat, but that the forearm's been thinned up. I mean, his whole gun's been thinned up a lot, so it's a lighter, you know, better feel on the front for sure. Which a lot of guys I know, some of them like it, but most of them, you know, it's just too big on the front.
That bigger feel.
Yep.
That having the gas system under the fore end gives us, but by tapering it this way, it really slimmed this thing up.
Yeah.
It feels fantastic.
So on the gas system with the Polymer, is this a cleaner gun? Do you get as much? You know, I know you've increased the gas system quality, I'm assuming. So is it? Can you shoot more rounds without cleaning it? Do you have less hang-ups? Like, tell us about.
And explain
Yeah.
a little bit to gas versus inertia, and like when people shoot gas and it's a softer shooting gun, they enjoy it better. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why
Thank-
would you want one or the other?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for the question, actually. The main difference is, I would say, from a consumer benefit point of view, from inertia and gas, is with gas you have, generally speaking, a broader range of ammunition that you can shoot, from target loads up to super magnum loads. And you get a better, softer shooting gun. That's true, actually, because inertia is a better word to say recoil. They work with recoil, right? So gas guns, there is no doubt that they are appreciated by all military products because of a reason, because they are more reliable. They can afford to take a broader, let's say, selection of cartridges, and on the other side they are softer to shoot. So that's why Beretta guns in this case are all gas operated. But some people might argue, oh, but gas guns are dirtier than inertia, so they require more maintenance. They are dirty in a sense that, of course, some of the gases are inserted in the gas cylinder, and they push a piston and so on. So the main drawback of that is gas is dirty. Well, we try to improve that situation by PVD coating the internal part of the cylinder. So for who don't know, basically the cylinder is where the gas expands after leaking out of the barrel and pushing the piston. And so we PVD coated that part in order to make it more efficient. So the gas don't stick.
So PVD coating. I mean, guys that don't know out there, that pretty much stays on that from now on.
Yeah,
right?
It's a vapor deposition technology that basically
no wearing off or tearing up on that side.
absolutely, and that makes the whole system more efficient. So it requires less gas to operate, and so we are marketing this as 46% cleaner than the other A400 Extreme Plus cylinder. So
which was still a really clean shotgun versus
no,
gas
absolutely,
anyway, right?
absolutely.
So, I mean, I would say a traditional gas gun, it's got to be 60 or 70% cleaner than
No, absolutely, but
brand X, right?
yeah. But it was like these small details that we want to improve on the Extreme in order to create a better product overall.
My favorite analogy on a gas versus inertia gun is if I took an inertia gun and held it in my hands and I pulled the trigger, it may or may not cycle, especially with a light load, because it needs something to push up against the cycle, right?
right.
And in a gas gun, I can pull this trigger right on the table and it's going off, right? Because it doesn't need anything to recoil against.
Well, and the kind of the hunt, we tell them at the counter, like, if you, and guys don't know you do, but if you lead with your backhand, you're pulling it against your shoulder. But a lot of guys lead with their front. They go to pull, and that pulls it away from their shoulder, which tends to hang up if you have an inertia, which is just how you shoot, right?
Yeah.
Some people do, some people don't. But
And if you come up too fast and you don't get it all the way in your shoulder sometimes with inertia guns, right, and you're kind of wing shooting this a little bit, like it's different. And I grew up in the military, and I think there's a reason why militaries use gas guns. Even these other shotgun brands who have military guns, there's a reason why they're gas. They're more reliable and they're more dependable. And so this cycle, and they're faster cycling, which is the other thing we didn't really talk about. So
sure.
This is a 36% faster cycling and 46% cleaner than the Extreme. And so, you don't have to shoot that fast in ducks. Hopefully you should shoot one,
it's
two
better
times.
for the shell business. Just shoot all three every
Exactly.
time, guys.
Shoot to the
And just
plug,
buy you new shells,
Shoot to the plug.
Even if there's one duck, keep shooting.
So, I guess the another question is, when is the AX800 available to the consumer?
We've got them on the way. So Pietro and I have been working pretty hard. I say I've been working. I've been pestering him. He's been working hard trying to get the factory to build these things. But they're on the way now. They actually just shipped a few days ago, and we'll launch this on the 20th. So you guys should be seeing these hopefully toward the end of the month, beginning of next month, by the time we get them cleared through customs and all that.
All the fun stuff that goes along with importing a shotgun.
I mean,
They're going to be limited. So
yeah, there's going to be a very limited amount, I would say. I mean, we'll have some of the first ones in the country, so
absolutely.
As we release this, hopefully there'll be some available, and you can, or at least you can pre-order. So we'll make sure to have some. What colors are going to be coming first?
We'll do black and Max 7
black
first.
and Realtree Max 7.
Yeah, and those are the first month, and then you'll see some Opti Fade in December, and then you'll see pretty much everybody. You'll see all the mossy oak colors. You'll see some solid colors through January, February, March. But I think there's 10 different finishes across all of them, and basically the same as the Extreme right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was just going to chime in about this gas versus inertia. Put it in a real world scenario. What is the most frustrating thing on a duck hunt that can happen?
Don't go bang.
Or your gun jam. You shoot once and ducks are still there and you jams. You know, just like you made the point talking about why the military shoot gas versus inertia, because it's more durable. It's gonna go bang, and that answers the question to me. You know, shooting gas versus inertia. You
Reliability.
Big flock of mallards. You paid a lot of money to between everything, gear, leases, all that, and they're finally in front of you. You know, don't sell yourself short on taking a chance to kill that duck.
Yeah, especially on those slow days, man. You know, if you hunt public or if it's just really slow and you know you're only getting 1 or 2 groups a day and you're hung out to dry on that one group that comes in, like, man, you're kicking yourself the rest of it. It's like forgetting your gun, walking to the blind. You're going to the blind. You know, it sucks.
That's right.
Nope.
Perfect.
All right, one thing before we wrap this thing up and we go eat a steak and have a whiskey drink. Anytime Kyle and I have a new guest on the podcast, we always like to get a favorite hunting story from everybody. So, Pietro, we'll let you start and we'll go around the table.
Skipping through the Alps.
Hey, it don't matter what the species is or what weapon you're using, or even if you were the shooter. I know we all got a bunch of favorites, but
is it going to be funny or?
It can be funny or it can be
bad.
Be your favorite. Yeah.
I have bad hunting stories actually that I'm regretting. Well, a hunting story that pretty much everyone gets into is like losing an animal that you shot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was alone hunting right there on the Alps, alone because all my friends were, I think, still partying probably, whatever, and so I was there. It was the first time that I was using copper ammunition for some reason in my 30-06 on the Alps. So you can imagine all snow. This deer passes above the tree line. I take the shot and I couldn't find any blood. So I was blaming myself because I was like, okay, I missed the shot, but I was clearing on it and the shot was great. So and I couldn't find the animal. After a bit, I was losing confidence. But after a bit, one friend came up, and with his dog, we found finally the animal. So it is a bitter and sweet type of story. But I just this was one. This is the story that came in my mind immediately when you asked us about a hunting story that we wanted to tell.
Sticks with you for forever.
It's a bad feeling to have, but it's good that you can. You don't want to.
Bitter and sweet,
I
guess.
The animal to be hurt and spleen.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got one. I think I've told the story before, and it's a duck hunting story. I grew up in Mississippi, and we're hunting some public ground in northwest Mississippi. There's not a ton of public ground up there, but we're hunting a WMA, and I think I was home on leave probably. Early 20s, we'll just call it that, and hunting with a couple buddies, and we'd gotten into some birds the day before in a rice field in this WMA, and so I called a couple guys the next day, and a good friend of mine I played baseball with growing up, and he lives over in Nashville now with me. So J-Mo, if you're listening, I apologize. I want to tell a story on you. But I said, hey, look, man, you need to come hunting. He's a big deer hunter. He hates duck hunting. He don't like getting out there with it. And I said, look, you're gonna love it. We're gonna get in the birds, and you know, you have a good time. You have a good time. So long story short, we get into him again. It's just me and him and another guy, and we kind of made a little makeshift blind in a rice levee, just sitting up against it, kind of kneeling down, and built a little blind. And I had crippled one because I wasn't shooting good shells, and it kind of sailed down on the end of the levee, and so it's probably 300 yards away, and so I'm walking down chasing this bird. And again, it's public land, so you're not getting a ton of birds, you know, and we're taking our good chances, but we're shooting our limits. And so I hear them kind of whistle, and I hear them start calling. I turn around and look, and I see birds circling, and they're working some birds. So anybody does, you know, you take a knee, and you're going to wait and just see what happens. And they're working these birds, and I was like, crap, they're going to do it. They're going to come right in on them. And I see this in slow motion still to this day because it makes me laugh every time I think about it. And they get into him, and they do it right, and he shoots, and one's coming. They shoot into him when they're coming down, and one's getting out, and he shoots. And this bird's coming at him, and I could tell, like, he's sitting on the levee looking at it, holding his gun in one hand, and this bird's coming right down at him. And it looks like it's going to get close. And about the time I see him turn his back, and he goes to run, but we're in this rice levee, and his feet are stuck in this mud, and you're like shin deep in mud. And he goes to turn, and he's trying to run. He can't go nowhere. And this bird hits him square in the back. He falls face down in the mud on this levee, and he's covered in mud, you know.
Mud everywhere. Don't know if it's his or the duck.
Exactly. He don't know what hit him, you know. And it didn't want to go. You know, he's a deer hunter. I don't think he's been duck hunting back since then. But I'm howling, you know, from 300 yards
Probably
away.
Probably can't get his wheelchair out there.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was a good time. It was a funny story. And yeah, he ain't been back. He ain't been back after that.
He ruined it.
Yeah.
Ruined the duck hunter. Go ahead.
Man, the one I can't get out of my head is just the recent one. After 5 years of DIY elk hunting, and it's the 8th hunt, I finally got the monkey off my back, man. So I drew a decent tag in Utah, and a couple really good friends came out with me and helped. We scouted a week before the season started. We were there 3 or 4 days early before the hunt actually started, and had a good game plan, man, and it all came together. It finally got an opportunity and made it count.
So it was a hammer too. The young bull the first few hours.
Good bull, yeah, like 340 bull, 345 bull.
What he's not telling you is for 6 months before he grew a handlebar mustache that looked like Wyatt Earp, and his wife made him. He had to shave that before he.
I had to be intentional about this,
I know
and
you
this
did.
was a big tag. You know, I wanted something. Every day when I looked in the mirror, I wanted to be reminded of this hunt. I wanted to make sure I was doing everything possible to make sure I was successful on this one. You know, and that handlebar mustache, it was a good one.
I got to get this off here.
Yeah.
That was the good luck chart.
Man, I could not wait to get home and shave that thing. It was pretty nasty after a week in the
That's a hard hunt too, man. That's pretty tough elements out there.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Really rewarding. The DIY thing to me is just, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Got that monkey off my back, we're going to move on to something else now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a big bull. It was a big bull, but
It
even
was,
if
it
wasn't,
didn't matter.
Yeah.
It didn't matter, yeah.
What's the next species you're moving on to?
Man, I don't know. Probably mule deer. I got to kill a good mule deer. So at some point.
That's what when you're here tax-free weekend, we're working. He's off.
Yeah, he'll be off.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes, isn't it?
He's calling in the shots, though.
Yeah,
He's quarterbacking.
that's right. What about you?
Man, mine actually happened weekend before last, Texas Youth Opener. So my son's first year to hunt, 9 years old.
Nice.
You know, he crippled one. That's all we got. It's on public land, tough hunt. But there was something awesome about watching him pick up those decoys and me not having to do all of it. You know, it was real cool.
Yeah, we call it youngest and the dumbest.
Yeah.
You know.
That's right.
Have him for a reason.
Yeah.
You know. So it's pretty cool.
He fell in love with it.
Oh man, he's ate up. He's ate up. I got to stay working here. So even if I want to quit, I'm stuck. So yeah, it's got to have the cool guns.
Yeah.
So my kid's first turkey was one of my favorites. He, it was a couple years ago. He's 12 now. I think he was 10. And have a shotgun, got 3 shells. We don't need more than 3 shells, right? Which was my stupid mistake. I leave all these shells in the truck. We get out there, 3 turkeys come right off the roost, and they're all just wadded up. And I'm like, don't, just hold on, just hold on. Well, they separate, and they're all 3 mature long beards. I'm like, pick one out. It don't matter which one. He said, I'm on the one on the left. I said, that's fine. I said, if you feel, if you feel good about it, and I was finna tell him to go ahead and shoot, and boom, he shoots.
You don't have to tell him to shoot.
No. He's good at squeezing the trigger. And so the turkey's, he's flopping the pipeline. We're high-fiving. You got him. We get up, and we're walking to him. And we get about from me to landing from him, and this turkey gets up and takes off into the woods. And so Jack shoots at him twice. I mean, turkey running, tight pattern, turkey loads you. Basically, it's like shooting a 22 Magnum at him. So he misses him. And I get like, you got to run to the truck as fast as you can and get the other shells and get back. And so he takes off. He's a pretty fast kid. He takes off down the pipeline. He gets back. He's breathing hard. I'm like, give me these shells. He's like, I'm out of breath. Give me these shells. So we're hollering at each other in the pipeline. I get the gun back loaded up, and I get him. He comes with me, and so we walk, and we find the turkey out there. Well, he shoots at him again and, like, knocks him over into a skitter rut. I run up with a stick and, like, drown the turkey in the skitter rut. It was an ordeal. We get him out in the pipeline, and we take a picture. I mean, it looked like a buzzard. Turkey's soaking wet. Just looks like teetotal hell. We take a picture. We're all excited. I sent a picture to Kyle. He's like, man, you're going to have to blow dry that thing or something and get a better picture. So we get home. I say, go in there and tell. I'm getting an extension cord rolling out there. Go in there and tell your mama you need a blow dryer. She comes out there. She says, hey, what do y'all need a blow? I'm like, we just need a blow dryer, babe. Just give the son, give him the blow dryer. We'll bring it back to you. So we blow dry this turkey in the driveway and take him out to my farm and get a better picture. But that's one I don't know if we'll ever forget. I was fixing to say, you got a book over there.
So I've got a Beretta story from my childhood that kind of lead us into talking more about this gun. But y'all are going to have to coach me on what model Beretta this might have happened to. But because of this event, my cousins, who are avid public land waterfowl duck hunters, that's all they do. They will not hardly hunt a lease place or something. He'll take his daughters hunting now on a lease place because it's easy for them. But they growing up, die-hard public land duck hunters. And so, but because of this event, when the A400 came out, my cousin, he bought one as soon as he could. But in the late 90s, what model Beretta would have been a duck hunting? 390.
The Eureka.
Okay, so this most likely I just know this was a Beretta that this happened to, and I imagine it was that because it was a waterfowl. This is my uncle, which is my cousin's dad, that had this gun, and so we went to the Beth River, management area here in Louisiana, and I believe I was probably 12 years old, around that age, and it was me, my two cousins, who one's a year older than me, one's a year younger than me, and my two uncles. We're all in a 14-foot John boat, and we end up going and tying up to a tree, a cypress tree or something, on some water that was too deep to stand in. And so we're hunting out of the boat, and I remember, like it was yesterday, it's a group of blackjacks come flying in, some ringnecks, and we fixing to cut them down like they were greenhead mallards. I mean, just we wearing them out, and we all go to shoot, and Uncle Carl, when he kind of stands up, when he shoots, he loses his footing and he falls and he hits, the gunwale of the boat on the backside. We're all shooting over the side of the boat, and when he hits the side of the boat, he weighs enough that it flips the boat just enough that it puts all of us into that same side of the boat, and then it really starts to go. But the boat didn't flip over, but it went over enough that we all went swimming. It pitched all of us out of the boat. And somehow, I don't know how, when we all got back into the boat, we're soaking wet, freezing, all that Beretta is missing. That was my Uncle Dale's gun. And so he gets back in the water, and he's, it takes your breath when you hit the water, at that cold. And he tries to fight it for as long as he can and dive down and try to find that gun. He can't find it. And so we leave the Beth River management area today, and he's lost his gun. And so this was probably, I'm sure it was around Christmas, because that's when I had a break from school. So during Christmas break, at the end of December, when this happened. Well, eventually later in the year, the water comes down enough where he can go, we got that spot marked. He goes back in there and he finds that gun when the water's down, and it's been sitting in the underwater for 4 or 5 months, and got it serviced, got it back going, and still shooting it.
Wow.
And just that's my Beretta story that I remember for a while.
Polymer would have been good for that.
Yeah.
No problem.
That's the second water Beretta we've heard today. You know the.
We're pretty hard on them.
Yeah.
Most of my spare parts come to Louisiana. So.
Probably one of mine was, Caleb and I don't get to hunt very much we're always up here, and we go out one evening, we're going to go roost a turkey. So we go out, and we own a sporting goods store, so we should have all the gear we have. We're sitting there, and we yelp. I got my slate call, yelp, the turkey gobbles. We sit there, and we look at each other, yelp again, he gobbles again. I'm like, well, heck, let's go kill him. So in all that whole truck, we had shotgun, you had one shell in your pocket, and I had one slate call, and that was it. So we had our face mask. And no mosquito spray. So it's, Louisiana, they're going to pick you up and tote you off. I don't think I've ever gotten eaten up that bad. You would grab your hand and do this, and you'd kill 40.
Wow.
And I'm yepping, and he's coming, man, just gobbling every breath, on the way. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking, and I'm gritting my teeth, and Caleb's sitting there, got his gun up. And I said, God, I'm getting eaten alive. And he said,
man, Hunter's calling. I mean, he's got the call sounding good. Turkey's gobbling. He's coming. I'm propped up, sitting there, and them just mosquitoes are everywhere.
Any minute.
Hunter said, man, I think that turkey's coming. These mosquitoes are terrible. I said, tell you, there's beer in the truck.
And out we went.
We left that turkey gobbling. We left those
forget
mosquitoes.
That turkey. Sometimes it's just not worth it. But
now it's like we'll show up. It's an early teal hunt or early season duck where it's still mosquitoes out, and
I'll forget my gun. But I'm not forgetting mosquitoes.
I'm like, hey, I brought mosquito spray. Hunter's like, I did too. I was like, well, I just making sure in case you forgot I got mosquito spray. We ain't going without the spray.
That turkey survived, but we wouldn't have. It was pretty bad.
State bird, Louisiana, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the thing that bothered me.
Like, I mean, some of those were big enough to mount full body size mosquitoes. So, well, we're gonna wrap this up and go get a drink and eat a steak. Y'all be looking for the new AX800 at Simmons Sporting Goods and SimmonsSportingGoods.com. We appreciate y'all.
Hey, appreciate you, boys.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, we got the new AX800 Suprema. Tell us, why should I buy the shotgun? Why should I spend the money? What's better about it than everything else?
Yeah, not too big of an upgrade on than the A400 Extreme, but the biggest thing for me is our barrels. Anytime we talk about Beretta shotguns, it's the Steelium barrels. Steelium Plus, Steelium Pro, Steelium Pro X. And what makes a cold hammer, or what makes Steelium barrels, it's our tri-alloy steel, it's vacuum distension, but the biggest point that nobody else has is our cold hammer forged barrels. Cold hammer forging is a rifle term. Everybody knows it, and it leads to tolerance and what you can do inside the rifling of a barrel. Nobody cold hammer forges smooth bore barrels. It's just too expensive in machinery. And what we mean by that, or what that allows us to do, is allows us to play with the forcing cone length. Most companies are deep bore drilling these barrels, and to control that tolerance for a 2 or 3 inch forcing cone, that's about as far as you can drill accurately without some fancy machine.
So it's a harder steel barrel, so you're able to lengthen that forcing cone, give you a better pattern in general, right?
Essentially, yeah. So that longer forcing cone in this Steelium Pro barrels, it's 450 millimeters compared to 320 millimeters on the Extreme Plus. For us rednecks, that's 17 3/4 inches versus 15 and a half inches. So of a 28-inch barrel, it's a 17 3/4 inch forcing cone. Most everybody else is 2 and 3 inches.
So instead of 2 or 3 inches, you got the whole
whole
barrel.
thing. And so what that allows us to do is to transition that shot out of that wad a little bit slower down the length of that forcing cone before it hits the cylinder portion of the barrel. And so what that leads is less bouncing around. You're losing less energy inside in the barrel. And it's a tighter, more consistent shot pattern downstream. It's more energy.
And then you said with the polymer design, less oil. You don't have to oil it near as much. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, it's a polymer receiver, an engineered polymer receiver, and so it absorbs a little bit more recoil than a traditional steel receiver. Plastic flexes a little bit more than metal. And then the biggest thing for us is no oil. You got a touch of oil on our rotating B-link bolt head here, but the rest of it you don't need. It's not metal on metal parts and a guide rod or a bolt. It's metal on plastic.
And you talked about the flexing. Extreme temperatures are not going to affect it, right? Y'all put it in. I know you tested it for negative 20?
Negative 20 degrees Celsius. Yeah, in an environmental chamber. We froze it overnight. Come back out and shoot it. It's gone through NATO testing that we put our military AR platforms through. So it's gonna go bang when you want it to go bang.
Yeah, too hot, too cold, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. The second thing I'll point out is our gas system. So, or the third thing I guess we'll point out, it's our B-Link Pro gas system. So, gas versus inertia. Everybody has a debate. For me, gas is more reliable than an inertia gun. It's going to go bang every time you want it to, and it's going to be softer shooting. And so I'm a fairly decent-sized guy, but I don't like getting kicked in the teeth. So I shoot a gas gun. This gun runs 36% faster cycling than most other operated guns, and it's 46% cleaner than the Extreme.
Okay.
So,
and then you said softer shooting, so you got a fully adjustable buttstock with a kickoff system, correct? About 40% less recoil.
70%.
70%.
Yeah,
okay.
70% less recoil. It's our Kickoff Pro system. So if you're familiar with Kickoff and Beretta shotguns, it's kind of the epitome of recoil reduction system. We redesigned it a little bit. There's 2 hydraulic pistons that work through the pistol grip and one back here on the rear side. But it works the same, 70% recoil reduction, and you can customize it so that you can change the drop, you can change the cast, and you can change the pistol grip's interchangeable if you want more of a closed grip. The cheek piece is interchangeable if you want to raise that up a little bit. And then a new recoil pad here on the backside.
Man, I think it looks awesome. Guys, we got them online right now. We got a limited supply of these on Simmons Sporting Goods. Check them out. Or come put one in, Hones down one in the store.
Yep,
appreciate it. Thanks, man.